I'm Bob Barbieri. I'm the Chief of Obstetrics and Gynecology at Brigham and Women's Hospital and the Kate Macy Ladd Professor of Obstetrics and Gynecology at Harvard Medical School. The initial edition was relatively slim, but over time more information developed, and now we're preparing the 7th edition of the book. And the successor editors are Dr. Jerry Strauss, the lead editor, and myself. It was fun to work with Dr. Jaffe and Dr. Yen as they transitioned the book in edition 5 and 6 to Dr. Strauss and I. They were a unique creative duo. Dr. Yen was a big picture thinker, and he liked to think in terms of ideas or speaking points that might transform a way a person understands reproductive endocrinology. Dr. Jaffe was a precise scientist, and he liked to get into the minute details of what really underlied our concepts of reproductive endocrinology. And the two together were very dynamic because those two styles played off each other wonderfully in a creative way. The amount of science that underlies our concepts of reproductive endocrinology has vastly exploded, with many more new hormones and many more new cellular and tissue level systems that we understand at a much greater depth at this time. And in the end, that'll probably lead to new treatments, new medications, and new treatments for a variety of problems that are difficult to treat at this time. One thing I would say is that initially, with many books in reproductive endocrinology, you could almost put them in your pocket. That is impossible at this point because the information has expanded so dramatically. So the size of the books and their content has doubled, tripled, quadrupled over the last 40 years. My mentor in medical school was Ken Ryan, and Dr. Ryan was one of the first basic science reproductive endocrinologists who trained in the 1950s and 1960s. He was the chair of OBGYN at the University of California, San Diego, and Sam Yen worked for him. Then Dr. Ryan moved to Harvard, and as a medical student I worked with him for about 10 years as a medical student resident and junior faculty member. And I trained in internal medicine, medical endocrinology, diabetes and metabolism, OBGYN, and reproductive endocrinology and infertility. So it was kind of a broad clinical training marrying two branches of medicine, the medical endocrine, and the OBGYN reproductive endocrine. Dr. Ryan and Dr. Yen were always in close contact, and eventually Dr. Yen thought I'd be a good addition as an editor representing the clinical translation into practice side of the book. It's great to work on a book where two pioneers in the field, Bob Jaffe and Sam Yen, really were major contributors to founding the field, recognized the need to bring together all the material in the field into one volume, initiated the book, and it's a great honor to continue in their footsteps to try to keep the book alive as science advances and changes in this area.